got it. It was the saccharine depletion. On the subject of free weight training, you do a few weights, and one's all pumped up, fluid in the muscles and the fibers are all up. Yeah. The type of high impact free weight training I've ended up with, a terrible habit doing, just leaves me deflated. Just every muscle, there's just so little saccharine, there's just actually no muscle tone. It's normally only found in stage 4 and 5 when the brain actively paralyses the body, stop personalising that dreaming. But after free weight training, one can have it completely conscious. See, often people think the muscles are relaxed, there's still tone. I can show you by the time I'm done. There's not. Usually about 200 reps. I could do more. I do them usually in box of 4. And upright rows in the presses mainly. I've had the, I think it's an arbovirus. I've had whatever the woodland bug is. The encephalitic knockout thing. After about 3 sessions, I'm already back up to 24 on the upright rows and 20 on the presses. Well, I should be 20 on the upright rows and 32 on the presses. Anyway, I've done weights for years and years. I just love weight training. My biceps are poo. The outside of this is good, but I mean, I've got no cleavage. Well, beyond the things I'm half got white bloody chromosome. Which all those actually most of that. I don't have a bench, I don't have any equipment, it's just that bar and it's the cogs. Oh, I've got some little 4K hand things that was going to, I got the wood to play with. But anyway, over the years I've got this, I just don't even do too many reps that will cause strain injuries up at the weight. But I'm only little, and the sort of basic cogs I have go up in increments of 4K. And I've just ended up getting, was the most I've ever done. I was upright rowing 32. I've never been able to go there. In groups of 4, there's a clean pickup off the ground and a neat set down. I place the weight down and drop it. Those concrete cogs have no chips or rails. I haven't used them all year. So there's the clean pickups and set downs. I usually do 4 in a group. Most upright row I've ever done is 32. Most of our pressed consistently in groups of 4 is 42. And even then I still weighed about 50k. It's been well over 10-15 years since I've seen anything over. I see under, not over. And I find myself doing, and I know technically it'd never be advised. I'd never advise anyone to weight train like that. But I mean, obviously it works. It works. I mean, I guess the paralysing psoriasis pain the next day, but anyway, I've always got strength I need to do what I need to do. I can ride well over 30k, rust buggy, which doesn't go out stiff as gear, does have a steel frame and very grippy tires. I can, like me surprise. But one problem I get is running out of silicone. And I know enough about physiological psychology and I still can't work out a way to up it. Eventually depletion point hits. And then it's just, I can't go to fell point, there's no spot for me. I don't weight train gym. I can do drop reps. But I can't obviously risk a cut out, particularly as I do the upright rows first because they're harder. Then I do the presses. When I cut out I've got a really flexible back. I'm now 34, in fact I'm nearly 35. I could still, if I lie on my tummy, I'm not cocking around then, just touch my head and my toes backwards. So, pretty bendy. It's also got a sign. Don't need to bend at waist. It's really quite. So I'll be careful. And I've done the weights for a few years. And the only thing that doesn't hurt after a weight training session is my actual spine. The deep back muscles, it's always impossible to pull my dorsies, my sombrero. Oh, of course, it's all the other bits, because it's not just a major, it's a minor under the shoulder blade. But my spine, my actual back, my spinal column, never hurts. So obviously doing it about right. But I've got to be really careful. The other problem is, not a spot for me, feet dead together. I sometimes have to leave that centimetre, just in case I need to kick a heel out. I don't use gloves or chalks, right? It's just plain free weight. I've got another problem. My back is so straight when I'm if I bring the weight up to here, if I try and lift it further forward, I will destroy my shoulders. That is definitely it. If I try and do it directly in line, if I just lifted that, I would clock myself on the chin. I can imagine that'd be pretty ugly with large portion of body. I'd bend my knees ever so slightly. Oh, and it pisses me off because really I want dead straight legs, feet dead together, but with no one to spot for me, a hyper flexible spine. Be careful. Oh, it never is. It's how I got my curly hairs. That's how I got these. Well, that bike riding and everything. And constantly filling. What else? As for upright rows, I know they're meant to be basic shrugs I can do. Oh, I can't do squats, so that slight bend also gets my knees slight. I don't fling the momentum in, well, unless I have to rescue myself from a problem, such as a hand slip. I can't do squats. My left leg got sorted out when I was a child. I broke it. Apparently I broke my leg on my leg. It was going to require a minimum of 8-week casting all the way up, or surgery. Cast was better. Anyway, the nature of the hospital, we lived in Plymouth, and the nature of the hospital was that they were willing to do the right thing, if a parent allowed it. So my whole leg was pulled and stretched, all the ligaments, everything was wrenched out. So that the contracture, which will occur in a 3.5-year-old child, I had very flexible bones, I was in a fast growth phase, so the bones would be growing, but the muscles and tendons shrinking. Anyway, normally the contractor would pull my foot right in and round. Agony, months of physiotherapy. Ooh. Or they could wrench it so that it was probably a greater injury actually than the break. And they held and stabilised the breast and wrenched it. I can remember it all being set up and I passed out once it started. No painkillers or anything, because the nervous system needs to know about what's happening. Well, the child loses consciousness. That pulls the foot out. It's a massive injury, yes, but the contracture pulls it back. I did some cast adjustment. Cast came off, foot dead straight. Could get straight on my feet within a day. I could walk. Otherwise, my foot would have been almost pointing backwards. But my knee's a little dicky. I'm so glad they did it. I'm so grateful my parents were using it. But I've got a slight dicky knee. I've got brachial fun. Complete break, mess. Apparently I was dancing, crossed one leg over the other and broke it. I'm not certain that's exactly what happened. I think quite possibly, yeah. Someone was away at sea. And I was put back in another bit of whip. Might just have been a kid dancing. I think I was dancing to The Cure or Bowie or something. My mum said. They definitely did know me. Anyway, they made the decision to get the leg wrenched. Dicky knee. I can't do squats. Well, I can, but I'm not looking this up. I was perfectly strong at that. It's fine. It's all good in the bike. It just doesn't like sort of the narrow angle. I've got enough strength. I can always stand up from that second there. Anyway, I'm going to stop this far because I've run it for absolutely ages. I've ran it in the mud. Oh, that was the point. Upright rows. Shrugs as well. I can't do shrugs. Well, I can. They destroy my shoulders. My shoulders are quite sort of flexible. And shrugs just turn my shoulders basically into like a pestle and mortar, like the dish and the burning thing. Yeah. But upright rows, because they lift the shoulder up and out, and my shoulders are flexible, don't cause many rotator cuff issues. I've got a variety of things: narrow handholds, wider, and I pull it right from my waist, dead straight, right up my chin. All these years, no trouble with my shoulders at all, no trouble with my spine. But I don't do squats, and I don't do shrugs. Yeah, they say do squats and shrugs, but my one's really flexible. One thing the weight training has sorted out is I used to get slight nerve entrapment in my overly convex, lumbar spine. And they're wet. It's a mix from bike riding in a paper round and the gentle start on ways, which is also allowed, otherwise it'll stunt growth. And I was raised by people who explained why something was the way it was. And so I don't like people who explain why. And that's all that, right? I tried to think the mess a flexible spine like mine would be in if I weight trained. So obviously what I do works, but I've gotten into some peculiar habits. So I should weight training as close to fail point, and then dropping the weight, and then getting as close to fail point as I see if we can. The shredded mess this results in is amazing. Has it created the need for the naproxen and that? No, that kicked up in 2013. I was only 28. That kicked up with what I hadn't done. One good. And I don't doubt that from the weight training I'd be a bit of a wreck in my 40s, probably 50s, if I live that long. But at 28, for that kick in, from nothing to that, that makes sense. Oh, I've got stress disorder, I smoke, I've still not got high blood pressure, I'm not diabetic. Apparently whenever I get a blood panel done, I'm okay. And then the weight training does more good than harm. I know I don't use extra naproxen, I don't use extra painkillers for weight training pain or shredding my legs and partial. That's all it's for. It's for the weird pain. The strange pain. It's not for wear and tear. I like weight training pain. Not in a weird twisted way, just stretching out afterwards. Well, obviously evolution encouraged brains to do it because then the muscles heal better straight. So it blocks out the background boring pain. Same as me shredded legs for once, I can hardly feel the weird ache that constantly comes from my neck and feet. The good feet though, I got the feet. I've lost my button.